All right, so today I'm going to talk about China and the ending of wolf warrior diplomacy. And they fired the main dude, Wang or Yang. Forgive me for purposely forgetting his name and his tiny little frame angrily shouting at reporters when they asked about China's expansionist policy in the South China Sea. So I think about this a lot while I'm doing, farm chores and meditating. And I'm Tibetan Buddhist. I took refuge when I was 19, and I've followed Chinese human rights as they've deteriorated throughout my lifetime. And for about 10 years now, China has advocated a practice of aggressive communication in press conferences and in response to their naval actions. And they've backed off of that now. And so I think to myself, what is the 5th step, 10th step ahead? And it only makes sense that they are backing off to create an atmosphere of Chinese equanimity and maybe fraternity with the rest of the world, fully knowing that they've angered the United States, and the United States of America is on a defensive posture with our bases in Guam, for instance, and with our allies like Japan. And even though we won't formally admit it on our websites, Taiwan, and Taiwan is a country, and a great country it is. So if you think about 10 years from now, when China is doing its next pivot, they're going to blame the United States of America, they're going to blame NATO for, quote, our aggression, which is a defensive posture that we've taken because of Chinese expansionism. But the world attention span is not 10 years. The world attention span is admirable if it's even 10 months. So I think to myself that their posturing, their expansionist policy, that still exists, but they've sacrificed this one fellow, the Minister of Foreign Relations, and now they're going to have someone next who's a wolf in sheep's clothing, and they've kicked the hornet's nest in their eyes. They have stirred up the United States and our allies. Literally, look at the Super Hornet program. So they've kicked the hornet's nest, and 10 years from now, maybe 5 years from now, there will be a posture change, again, a pivot based on the metaphor of eradicating hornets. And they're going to try to justify it to their fellow Russian, North Korean, and South African allies. And God forbid the Indians follow suit. They need ammo and weapons from some other sources, don't they? There's going to be, in the Chinese eyes, a justification of their policy to fight the United States because they walked back their wolf warrior diplomacy. They're all about some sort of legal justification. They're all about trying to justify it to the UN on a legal footing. And mark my words, they are going to become aggressive again, but they are going to justify it as quelling the aggressive nature of America, which is just offensive. Remember it. It's just offensive.